Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Destiny video. Now in today's video I'm going to talk to you about the hotfix which dropped today on January the 12th. And among other things, it is also designed to fix a lot of the issues in the new Crota's End raid. Now, just like always, the complete patch notes for this are on Bungie's website, bungie.net, and I will leave a link to that post in the description box down below for those of you that want to read it in full. But with that out of the way, let's get things started. As I mentioned previously, this doesn't just address the issues in Crota's End raid, it does also fix a few other issues as well, so I'm going to start from the top and run you guys through what you need to know. First up, activity rewards. You may have noticed for a while that if you've been doing daily events that you haven't been getting Ascendant materials. Well, there was an issue whereby Ascendant materials were no longer possible as a reward for daily gold tier public events, but that has now been fixed. So it is now worthwhile going back and doing those public events because you can now get those all important Ascendant materials. And the other one to do with rewards is to do with the Nightfall strikes. You may have been one of the unfortunate guys, I personally have as well, who have completed a Nightfall strike, worked your way all the way through, and been rewarded with a measly 6 strange coins. Well, that is a thing of the past. Now, Nightfall strikes will award 9 or more strange coins. So no more sort of measly rewards. Admittedly, strange coins are still a little bit of a letdown at the end of a Nightfall when you're really hoping for exotics, but at least now you know that if you do get strange coins, you will be getting a decent amount. Then moving on to PvP. First up, let's talk maps. A few maps have been added to the rotation for Control, Clash and the Iron Banner, which is coming back very soon. The maps that have been added are the Anomaly, Asylum and the Burning Shrine. So if you're a fan of those or you haven't really had a chance to play on those too much, then good news, those playlists will now include those in the rotation. Then while we're on this topic, Iron Banner. Iron Banner comes back on Tuesday, January the 13th. That is tomorrow if you're watching the video today, or if you're watching it tomorrow, then that's today. Either way, Iron Banner is back once again, but this time hopefully you should have a slightly more interesting reason to want to come back. The playlist weapon drops this time round are a level 32 sniper rifle and a level 32 auto rifle, and if you gain event standing from the Iron Banner, then you can purchase legendary gear, and that will include a level 32 hand cannon, a level 32 rocket launcher, level 32 gauntlets, and a level 31 chest. So, there you go. They are the items that are going to be available in the Iron Banner starting from tomorrow. Now moving on to weapons. There's only one fix under this topic, and it's also only kind of like a temporary fix because this is to do with the Black Hammer sniper rifle. Now the Black Hammer is a sniper rifle which you get from Crota's End raid by defeating Crota. It is a really good sniper rifle. You've probably seen some videos on it. I'll put one up for you guys very soon. But the reason the Black Hammer is so damn good is because it has a perk called White Nail, which means that when you rapidly land 3 precision shots, the magazine will refill. So if you're fighting a boss and you string together consecutive precision shots, you will never need to reload. I've seen people land 40 plus shots in the Nexus on the final boss. But there has been one problem with the sniper rifle. It also has a raid specific perk much further down the tree called Hive Disruptor, which increases damage to Hive mages. However, people found that if you use this upgrade, or you kind of like apply this upgrade to this weapon, then it negates the effect of White Nail when you're fighting Hive enemies. So you can still use the precision damage of White Nail when you're fighting, say Vex or Fallen or Cabal, but if you try and use it in the Hive, especially in the raid, then you will not have the effects of White Nail, which means after 3 shots you'll still need to manually reload and you won't be benefiting from that perk. So for the time being, and this is why I said it's a temporary fix, that Hive Disruptor perk has been disabled. So White Nail will now work across the board irrespective of the type of enemy you fight, and at a later date Bungie will then fix it once White Nail and Hive Disruptor play nicely together. Then lastly, this is the big one, raids. So first up, one quick fix for the Vault of Glass. Exotic weapon drops, while still infrequent, are now level 32. Prior to this, if you've recently got an exotic weapon drop in the Vault of Glass, you will have found out, very annoyingly, that it is still an old level 30 exotic, so you would then still have to wait for Zur to come through so you can upgrade it. But that is now a thing of the past. If you get an exotic weapon from the Vault of Glass, it will be the new level 32 version. And then the one that everyone has all been waiting for, Crota's End. The cheese has left the building. First up, rewards. If you remember, there's a treasure chest right at the very beginning of Crota's End, and up until now, you've been able to go in and have a chance at getting exotic items from it. Well, that is a thing of the past. They've now changed it so that treasure chest right at the start will only contain radiant materials. In fact, all the chests in the raid, the first one and the one that you also get at the end of that kind of sort of passageway, both of those will only ever contain radiant materials. The potential exotic drop from the chest in the pit has now been moved to Arekkz the Deathsinger. You may remember if you've played through Crota's End raid that when you defeat Arekkz the Deathsinger, it's the only boss that doesn't have a loot drop. Now it has a chance to drop those exotic weapons. Then also, while on the topic of the pit, while you're in the pit, you may know that if you stand next to or near a lamp and it explodes, then it will knock things flying, and you can use that to your advantage, because if you stand up on a rock by the second pillar, it can launch you almost all the way to the final bridge. That has now been fixed. Players will no longer launch if they are standing near a lamp that explodes. Then for the bridge encounter, one way that people have been getting past this is that if you go and stand right at the back of the level, once you've initiated the bridge phase, then the enemies will despawn, they will respawn on the opposite side, and you just snipe them all until it's done, and you complete this phase. Really easy, and not how it's meant to be played. Now, with this new fix, players will be required to cross the bridge in order to complete the bridge encounter, and players will now be required to wait for the bridge to be completed prior to crossing with the sword. So in other words, you can't kill the sword bearer, pick up the sword, and use the kind of like slashing motion to make you fly across without summoning the bridge, nor can you complete the phase without crossing the bridge yourself. So that now has to be done legitimately. Then I touched on this briefly earlier, but talking about the Death Singer, the Death Singer, she now not only has a chance to drop exotics, both weapons and armour, but she can also drop raid class pieces and radiant materials. And in addition to that, there's also been a rare case where Shriekers, the Shriekers you need to take down the walls, would not spawn. That has now been fixed, so they will now spawn at all times. And the very last one, the one that you know is always going to come, the Crota encounter. First up, there was a glitch whereby if you ran into the room and you killed the first sword bearer really quickly before the first doors open, then when the doors would open, a second sword bearer would come out, allowing you to kill two, get two swords, and have two people attack Crota when you've downed him, which in turn allows you to kill him ridiculously fast. That will no longer happen. You will no longer get two sword bearers at one time. In addition to that, another one of the biggest glitches, the biggest cheeses people have been exploiting, is that if the host of your party disconnects while Crota is downed, he will stay in a down state and he will stay on his knee throughout the whole fight, which means you can then go and wail on him with a sword without having to worry about him getting up and killing you. In addition to that, there was also a bug in place whereby if a Warlock used the Radiance perk when they died, they could remove the presence of Crota, which is one of the key mechanics in the Crota fight, which is used to prevent you from regenerating health unless you're holding a chalice. That again has been fixed. And lastly, this was a really annoying one. There was a bug whereby sometimes it would appear that the Oversoul had been destroyed when in actual fact it was still active, so you would therefore appear to have killed it but you would still wipe as a team. That issue has also now been fixed. So they are all the fixes currently implemented into Crota in Raid. So the cheese run that people were able to complete in say about sort of 20 minutes is now a thing of the past, and this will now need to be run legitimately. So there you have it. That is everything you need to know about the hotfix. Once again, if you do want to read these notes for yourself, then there is a link to Bungie.net in the description box down below where you can find the full patch notes. But aside from that, that is it for this video. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button down below, give it a thumbs up, show your support. That does really help us out, and obviously don't forget to subscribe for daily gaming videos and much more Destiny content. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of this hotfix, and are you glad that Bungie have fixed the cheese in Crota in Raid. Thanks again for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.